Have you ever longed for a time that you've never lived in? Have you grown weary of advertising showing you what you need to be? Are you disillusioned with capitalism and corporate greed? Have you lost all your senses to the vibes? Vaporwave is dead. Some content creators would like to have you believe that Vaporwave is a dead genre and it's been dead for a few years. How could it die if it lives in internet history, in pop culture, and most importantly, in our hearts? How can you feel nostalgic of an era and a type of music that's already nostalgic for another era and another type of music? First things first, what is Vaporwave? Vaporwave is a genre of electronic music, or as a microgenre called hypnagogic pop, or H-pop. Not only is it just music, it's a style of art, a movement on the internet, and a meme that arrived in the early 2010s and became well known in 2015. This music is partly defined by its slowed down, chopped, screwed samples. It's usually samples of smooth jazz, R&B, elevator music, even Japanese city pop. Now, the surrounding subculture around Vaporwave, that's much more of a spicy enchilada there. That's much more of a spicy whoozy doo 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 wah, you know? That's more of a whoozy what's it. The surrounding subculture is... It's characterized by a nostalgic and surrealist take on pop culture, technology, consumerism, and pretty much everything that happened in the last half of the century. It incorporates visuals such as late 90s web design, glitch art, anime, video games, sometimes like Greek sculptures, 3D rendered art, cyberpunk stuff, and all this originally came from C-Punk anyway, which I'll get more into in a second. Vaporwave's visual aesthetic also draws from the Memphis Group, a collective of postmodern artists and architects that was founded in Milan, Italy. The group disbanded in 1988, but its influence still lives on today. It's a kind of revisionist nostalgia, using newer technology to enhance memories of the past by exaggerating features of the past art and musical styles. That was 44 gallons of lube from Reddit. According value 6227 says, in my opinion, Vaporwave is both an art movement and a music genre designed to be a satirical celebration of the unfulfilled, sybaritic, and decadent capitalist utopia promised by us by Reaganomics. Which is so true. Reaganomics has deeply influenced Vaporwave stuff. The name Vaporwave itself is derived from vaporware, a term used to refer to revolutionary or life-changing software that is announced but never released. That's really interesting. Imaginary effitant patent? I don't know. I'm fucking illiterate. Forgive me. A melancholy reminiscence of a much less burdened era of consumerist society. Vaporwave takes the tarnished and bygone and polishes, saturates, and distorts it to exaggerate the surreal aspects of a familiar past. It feels new and old at the same time, finding novelty and nostalgia into an intoxicating mix for a generation in between the last remnants of analog society and the first inklings of a fully digital society. Which almost, you know, people like millennials and Gen Z are just caught in that midway point between analog and digital. I mean, as much as millennials like to shit on Gen Z like us, I mean, we feel the same things. We've dealt with a lot of the changes that we've seen in our society the past few decades or whatever. Action Man 48 says, The nostalgic feeling of Vicks Vaporwave that your mom rubbed on your chest when you got to stay home sick from school and listen to the new Culture Club cassette, Color by Numbers, on your Sony Walkman while watching The Price is Right while also high on NyQuil. That sounds pretty good. Vaporwave really is just about nostalgia and vibes. It's hard to describe, really. This was born out of a changing era, taking precursor artists such as Ariel Pink, James Ferraro, and Vectoid, and then also took the visual style from C-Punk and all these things happening on Tumblr, with other influences such as Witch House and other sampled electronic music at the time. Other influences are chill wave of the time, just like Washed Out's Feel It All Around as seen in Portlandia, or at least where I saw it first. Another one that I point to specifically for myself is Sunset Corpse, There's Nobody Here. That came out in 2009. That was way early Vaporwave. But all these things were forming and taking root already on the internet before Macintosh Plus's Floral Shop in 2011. Now this album was the straw that broke the camel's back into the mainstream. This was released in 2011, but later reviewed in 2012 by Anthony Fantano, the internet's lamest music nerd. He himself in the video mentions that Vaporwave is this new and upcoming genre, and that it's coming into the mainstream, but he doesn't think it's gonna last. Of course, that was back in 2012 before Vaporwave took way over, so after this broke it into the mainstream, tons of other bands and artists and lots of other things were shared around 4chan and Reddit and Tumblr, but specifically Bandcamp, YouTube, and Turntable FM. Now, Turntable FM was really supposedly very responsible for putting most of the footwork into making this an actual genre. And then after that 2012, 2013 boom, millions of artists started posting their stuff on the internet. I mean, we're talking Vectoid, Macintosh Plus, Prism Corp, Virtual Enterprises, Laserdisc Visions, New Dreams Ltd, Sunset Corp, Point Never, Chuck Pearson, Daniel Lepitan, James Ferraro, Skylar Spence, also known as Saint Pepsi, George Clanton, also known as, I always never know how to say it. Is it Esprit? Esprit? Escorts. It's in the game. Surfing, Windows 96, Telepath, Infinity Frequencies, 2814, R23X, Nimesh, Cat System Corp, Angela Rossi, Blank Banshee, Luxury Elite, Tupperwave, Stux.io, Cosmic Cycler, Macross 8299, Vantage, Mosha, Barb Walters, Sakura Lee, Bloodwave, Lens Corp, Powers, Arcane in Tokyo. The list goes on and on and on and on. There's so much Vaporwave on the internet for anyone to listen to. I mean, I've been listening to it for a long time and I've still never heard. I've never even scratched the surface. But anyway, after all these things get posted and shared around, 2015 finally rolls around. Bam. It's in the mainstream. I mean, every YouTube channel back then, Vaporwave Aesthetics, Vaporwave Music Intro, Vaporwave Everything. The Macintosh Plus song was a meme from then until, I mean, it's still a meme now. It takes over things like fashion with streetwear and hypebeast stuff. I mean, you can find an Arizona Tea jumpsuit. Arizona Tea itself, I mean, that's very 2015 Vaporwave. All sorts of other pop culture things and songs get influenced by it. Drake's Hotline Bling has been said to be influenced by Vaporwave. Hell, in 2015, Rolling Stone published an article naming 2814 as the top 10 artists you should know. In 2016, Floral Shop, which set it all off, was one of the highest selling albums on Bandcamp. I mean, that's crazy. You know, that was 5 years after it was posted. But then with all this publicity and hotshottery, Vaporwave gets a little full of itself, and it thinks that it can split off into a bunch of genres. And this is the other breaking point for Vaporwave. The breaking into multiple genres. Hold on. Aesthetics Wiki. Okay. We've got VHS pop. One of the most popular genres. You know, this is like luxury elite and stuff like that. Pretty much just takes samples from the 80s and 90s. We've got corporate Vaporwave, which is like, you know, it takes all that weird like corporate art and stuff from the 80s and makes that into the focus point of the music. Dream punk, I'm sure you guys all know what that is. That's like more ambient kind of music. Echo jams are like short loop kind of things. Game wave is like based on video games. I mean, it's those old mixes that you'd see like Zelda Wave and Mario Wave. Pokey Wave, 1997. Future funk. One of my favorite genres. Basically takes like, it's, you know, it partially spun off into its own thing where it takes more of the like Miami tropical aesthetic, and it takes some of that Japanese stuff from the 80s too. Takes a lot of 80s and 90s stuff from anime, specifically anime, but that's like house music with vaporwave details, I guess. I don't know, fuck it. It's basically just funk samples sped up, looped around, cut up, chopped, whatever you want to call it. Very catchy. One of the best. Barber beats, which are basically like trip hop and vaporwave had a baby, and it's really listenable. In fact, I use it in a lot of my videos today. You got Simpsons Wave specifically. That's a weird one. It is pretty good though for some reason. Vapor goth, which is like industrial music but with vaporwave stuff. Vapor noise, vapor funk, vapor trap, and the list goes on and on and on. Was vaporwave confused? Was it going through an identity crisis? I know I was in 2016, so I don't know. But after it's expanded and changed, and we're, you know, 7 years past that now at this point, the question really is Vaporwave dead at this point? Now, personally, I don't think Vaporwave's dead. I mean, Artsy Music stopped posting about a year ago, so there's not a lot more future funk kind of stuff coming out. There is, but you have to hunt for it more. Vapor Memory, a big channel that I used to watch, still posts all the time. They're constantly keeping us updated with fresh and interesting material. All right. Okay. Editor Cal here. I'm adding a little addendum to the end of this video on Vaporwave in 2023. It's not dead, and I just want to add more to this video. So first, the Vaporwave subreddit is a great place for new music. People are always talking about it. It seems like it at least gets a few posts a day on there, so people are still posting. Still alive. I actually found this list right here on Vaporwave in 2023 nowadays, at the time of this video being recorded. So within the past like couple of years, this Vaporwave Zero subgenre has come out. It's like jungle beats almost, but like, you know, like jungle D&B stuff. It's kind of cool. And go a hero or a hero, I don't know what you say. There's all sorts of stuff. Harlan Cope, CD Ghost, Vitesse X, Savage H, Jessica Jones and Starnes. Jessica Starnes and the Jack of All Trades. You know, there's all sorts of stuff being posted on here and all over on the internet. The next thing I thought is, since you guys are on YouTube, the best way to find new Vaporwave artists is, in my opinion, Vapor Memory is like the best channel for that. I mean, they're still constantly posting, like I said earlier. I mean, it's just new stuff. It's all like, there's plenty of new good stuff coming out. Sound Station's another one. Plus all sorts of stuff. Great visuals on this channel, by the way. One that I just heard about today is Triangle Music. Seems to post all sorts of stuff. Got some barber beat stuff and some like ambient other things. Kind of interesting. If you want barber beats specifically, I recommend checking out Interstellar Bobo. Posts all sorts of new like barber beat stuff. I'll do another full video on barber beats, by the way, because I find them so interesting and I really love barber beats. Yeah, posts all sorts of stuff. This is Luxury Elite's label, Fortune 500. Posts all sorts of stuff. I think it's still going today, but I'm not completely sure. This one was posted in 2023. But you can always go back through all these channels and look at older music from years ago that you haven't heard. And a great way to do that is from this archive. I literally just heard about this the other day, but it's fantastic. I cannot recommend it enough. It only goes up to 2020, which is weird. They might have stopped doing this. But it has, I mean, all of the best albums from the past, like, since conception of Vaporwave. You can see all sorts of my favorite albums here. So not only does it have all the albums here, right? Let me find a bigger one. Oh, you know what? I'll go to my favorite. Let's go to one of my favorite Vaporwave albums. 100 Mornings by Windows 96. So not only does this has the cover and the thumb, has all sorts of information on it, when it was released, what genre it is, and it usually has where it came from, and if it's popular enough, it actually has the Wikipedia page for it. Let's go to Macintosh Plus. Yeah, it has all the information, cover, thumb, everything. The Wikipedia page, the web archive, the YouTube version. It's a really fantastic, really fantastic archive. Honestly, whoever did this, like, genuinely put a lot of care and thought into putting this together. So whoever did it, thank you. LucidArchive.com. Yeah, just but it still prevails today. It's not dead. Maybe dying and waiting for new life. Waiting for someone like you or me to come along and shake things up in the genre. It could just be on its way out. Just a wave that rolled out of the internet. But if you look at the posts and the influence that it had, you can see the high water line. Well, the wave rolled up to it, rolled back into the ether. This has been my love letter to Vaporwave. I hope you all enjoyed it. I want you to like and subscribe if you made it this far. There's more like it coming soon. In fact, I might do a video based on barber beats specifically. Anyway, it's been your pal, Cal. Sub.